Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager 6 stream. My name is Adam. I am the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and not pictured on your screen, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with the Swinging 60s Vancouver Canucks 1966-1967 stream. Jeff, the NHL looks radically different. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, we decided to change up the 1960s expansion a little, and rather than bringing in 6 new teams in 1967 and the Canucks and Sabres in 70, we started in 1965, which there was a proposal we've explained in a couple of the earlier shows if you want to go back and watch those, exactly what was going on there. But there was a proposal to give Vancouver a team in the mid-1960s, so this is a sort of what if that had actually happened. So we played out our first season as the only expansion team with the 6 established teams, and the original 6 kind of destroyed us going back.
As we expected to happen, to be honest.
Yeah, it was not pretty. Let me just pull up our history there. 10, 46, and 14 in the first year. I mean, our attendance was great, but we were way back in last place. And so what we've done this year is added a little bit more, hopefully, help for us, because there's going to be a couple of weaker teams in the league now. We went with completely West Coast expansion so far, so it's Los Angeles and Oakland. And then we'll probably do another...
How do you not love having the Seals, Jeff?
Yeah, 2 or 3 teams
awesome.
in this upcoming off season, but we've at least got 2 other teams to beat up on now.
Yeah, well, part of the reason when we decided to bring the Seals in, Jeff initially just started with the Kings, and I suggested the Seals, was because the Seals too were a rival of the Vancouver Canucks in the old WHL.
Yep, and we've just showing the expansion draft. How that went here. We were exempt from the draft, so we didn't lose anybody. Some of the established teams, if I sort it by team, you can see the everybody's lost quite a few. The Bruins got hit really hard, although they've got young Bobby Orr coming in, so they may still be in pretty good shape this season. But I think the league is going to be a lot more balanced this year. And I've played us around. I think we left off, it was just the beginning of July. We just done the draft. So I signed our draft picks and advanced us around to the start of the preseason. And I'm just going to pull a couple of more guys here in on tryouts. We did sign a few free agents, but maybe bring in some guys that we might want to keep. Or maybe not Lunani, because I think the league is being free agent pool is picked relatively clean here.
Well, as it should with 2 new expansion teams.
Yeah, Billy Heindel from Winnipeg, Bob Paradis, old U.S. national team player.
You know who is available, at least on mine, is Lunan.
Nanny.
It's forever Nan in my head.
Okay.
Listen, I'm known for saying names, and I screwed up one bad last week, and I felt really bad about it after I thought about it for so long.
What was that?
Oh, Jeff, I don't even remember anymore. It was a name plays for Chicago. Jeez, I got to look up.
Okay, so I think what I'll do is start off with what the AI wants for lines. Oops. Set rules and lines first, see what they're going to do. Yes, it's going with approximately where we left off last year. I don't think there's any of the new guys in, so we'll play the first exhibition game like that. And then gradually substitute new guys in for each one and see how they do. And I did go back and we had the wrong logos for we were getting the default logos for the Seals and the Kings, so I went in and fixed that, and they got their correct uniforms and everything now.
That was just because we brought them in a year early.
Yep, and so it doesn't. They're outside the ranges that are normally associated with the logos, so that wouldn't work. But let's start it up. Play our first exhibition game against Montreal, who destroyed us several times last season.
It was. I'm going to say his name wrong again. I feel terrible about this. I don't know why I can't get his name right in my head. Drake.
You got me?
He plays for Chicago. He's 25. Caggiula.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Beulah, you called him Caligula.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
I just let that one pass last week. 1-0 loss to Montreal in our first exhibition game, so we're doing a little bit better.
Yeah, sometimes the things that get you.
Okay,
Jeff,
so
I'm informing you, I still got nothing, unfortunately, on Steam.
On Steam, I know it failed the first time I tried to start it. So
yeah,
it's theoretic. I mean, it's exploit is showing outgoing broadcast to Steam, so
I'm not sure, but yeah, I felt really bad about that because I'm just like, what was I thinking when I said that? But I don't know. I kind of actually just want to nickname him the Vampire now.
Okay, gonna shuffle the lines around a little bit.
JT Dutch says this is build 70. Yes,
this is 70. Yeah, this is a new hotfix as of this morning. Just put it out. There are a couple of issues with the 68, which was the update last week, or the week before actually, and we had to fix those. And it was actually it took us a little. We didn't find out about a couple of the issues until a lot later than we normally do for some reason. So we had already done a few new things and made other changes and fixes. So there's actually a little bit extra, and then what there would normally be, we do a hot fix. It would only be a 5-1 win over the Hawks. Not bad.
How's that?
There'd normally be just one or two things changed in a hot fix, but in this case, there's a dozen or so, and we also added a new thing we're planning for the final update, which is allowing you to start in control of a national team, which isn't tested all that much right now, so you may run into little issues with it. Yeah, if there are any, we'll get those fixed in the final update, which will be probably a couple of weeks after the trading deadline. So, actually, I'm going to leave that lineup together for one more game because it's the Hawks again. Swap Ernie Wakely, our tryout goalie, in. And it's a 6-4 loss this time, but at least we're starting to score. I've had a lot of trouble doing that last season. And I just realized I did something here. Left all of our farm team guys down on the farm, so bring those up and let them get into a few games. So yeah, the big thing was there was an issue with the with leagues that dressed 19 players, which is I think it was a Czech second division, one of the German leagues, and there might have been a few others where you literally couldn't continue, so we couldn't let that stay like that. So we fixed it for that, and then there was a problem with retained salary and a few other things we didn't want to leave sit, so got that out this morning. And Hillman out. Just trying to get everybody into a game, at least one during the preseason.
Good plan.
Yeah, it's good timing. Right before we play the Bruins, their goalie falls off the roof.
Perfect.
And we lose 6-2 anyhow. And I'm just curious, is Orr in the lineup for them now? Yeah, he is. So get to contend with that this year. Although he's still relatively young at this point. And Gordie Howe sprained his knee.
Ouch. Speaking of which, how are you feeling about the Canucks with injuries continuing to pile up?
I'm pretty happy with the trade they made.
It's not a bad trade, other than the fact they don't have a pick till round 3 right now.
The scary one I'm hearing, I just saw the rumor that they're going after Wayne Simmons and offering Jet Wu, who's one of our better defensive prospects, for him, and I really hope that's not true.
Not Jet Wu.
Yeah, I mean, just the name value alone.
I really wanted the Jets to draft him. I like Jet Wu.
Yeah, it would be perfect for you guys.
How can you not cheer for a guy whose last name's Wu, anyways? Woo!
You'd have to bring in Ric Flair to.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Well, lots of stuff you can do with that. Okay. Looks like John Ferguson got injured. It's only day to day, not a problem.
It was kind of interesting how the Jets make the trade for Dylan DeMaio yesterday, which we should say with the hotfix update, there is not a roster update with it.
Yeah, there'll be a full roster update after the trading deadline, but give us a couple of weeks on that one.
Yep. But what I was saying was it seemed as soon as the Jets made the trade for Dylan DeMaio, it just sent everybody else going, oh, we need to trade for defensemen. And everybody started trading all over the place.
Okay, and Montreal back up against Montreal. Starting goalie Jackman back in. And 6-2 loss. So we're still giving up a ton of shots, although at this point I've really swapped out most of our regular lineup. Let's go back to what the AI wants. And see how the full lineup does against Boston.
It's a good thing to try.
Oops. Forgot to set my lines before the game. Interesting that it wants to put Tony Esposito in ahead of Sawchuk in the lineup, so might be time to trade Sawchuk before he's still got a little bit of value. And see, the regular lineup does okay. 3-2 win over Boston. Dick Duff first star with 3 assists. And we almost at the end of training camp already.
I guess Tony O should be coming. If we're gonna try and trade Sawchuk, we might want to sign somebody else.
Okay, so I'll take a quick look at the stats. Did any of the new guys, preseason stats, stand out? Barclay Plager, I signed as a free agent, had a good game. And nope, bottom end of it is mostly the tryout guys. Although Forbes Kennedy wasn't doing too well. Okay, so Wakely we won't re-sign because we've got 2 decent goalies on the farm. Actually, wait. I'm going to shop Sawchuk around.
I was going to say, just looking, I don't know how you feel about this, but the Red Wings have quite a few goalies, but not really anyone worth for a backup, and trading him and trying to get Joe Daly back wouldn't be a terrible move for us.
Don't know if we necessarily want Daly.
Actually, he's the best of what they have.
I just saw that on Hockey Reference before we came on.
Well, the other thing is we could go for Roogie Vachon, although I don't think they'd make that trade with Minnesota. Or not Minnesota, Montreal.
I just want to see if I can maybe get even a pick out of him would be good, because we can sign Wakely as a 3rd or 4th stringer.
Montreal right now has Charlie Hodge, Rogie Vachon, which actually, I was at the Kings-Jets game last night. There's a guy wearing a Rogie jersey.
Nice.
And then they have Carl Wetzel as the backup.
Old school King ones? The purple?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Ken Dryden and Gary Desjardins as their top 5 goaltenders. They have a lot of goaltenders that we
loaded. Let's see if the Wings will give us their second rounder. No, they're not.
This is not that good of a draft coming. Plus, if we expand and add a few more teams, we're guaranteed to be even lower.
See if we can get a half-decent prospect out of them. Bill Lasuk, future Winnipeg Jets. No, they're not going to do that either. I have to go. Try Bob Falkenberg. That's about as. Yeah, see, doesn't look like they're going to accept any of those. So no, I don't think I'm going to be moving him to the Wings. Is there anybody else that you can see?
Montreal.
Yeah.
Try Montreal.
Why would they take?
Just go for one of their goalies. And maybe throw in the 69 second rounder or something.
What do I need one of their goalies for, though?
Well, if you
good in goal.
Okay, yeah. Why wouldn't we want Ken Dryden as our number
we got Tony
3 goalie?
It was better.
It would be good to have a 1-2 punch.
No, we're fine in goal.
You can trade from a position of strength, Jeff.
Which is what I think I'm going to do, but not right now because I'm going to send Esposito back down. At least to start the season, we'll go with Sawchuk in goal. Not going to sign Wakely, and then we will look at trading Sawchuk. Actually, I'll put him on the trading block right now. And then see if we get an offer on him at some point during the season. Because we get nothing when shopping him and everything gets rejected. He's kind of on an expensive contract. $53,000 is relatively big for this point. Trying to trim this down a little. Dennis Hextall not ready yet.
I noticed I was sounding a little bit loud on the stream, so I tried turning down my input volume to see if that helps out.
Okay. Although you just sound like you are a little quiet to me now.
Well, I sound really loud on the stream. I can tell you that from flipping over.
Okay, you actually sound about normal now. Maybe leave it there. Anybody else that needs to go down? 1, 2, 3, 6 defensemen.
All right.
I think we'll keep Plager up and send Doug Roberts down. And then do we want to sign any of these tryout guys? I think I'm going to offer Nanny a deal, but none of the others. Forward tryouts, Heindel, no, he's not better than anybody we have now. I don't know what the AI's obsession with Bill Sutherland is, but sending him down so it stops trying to use him. And Bill Collins not ready yet. Chicago waving Dave Dryden. We're going to have to cut this down a little bit further soon. Interesting player on waivers, but I'm guessing that's Dryden. Oh no, we got a few guys on waivers to start the season, so anybody useful we can grab. Now Dryden's clearly the best of them. Parker McDonald, but he's 33 at this point. Dwayne Rupp, who had one pretty good year as a Penguins defenseman in after the 67 expansion. Dick Cherry, Don Cherry's brother. Mike McMahon, another good sort of one-season wonder in the 70s. Although he had a decent year for New York last year.
Northern Skies says, "Hi guys, interesting logo for the Canucks."
Yeah, that's the old school one, the Western League Canucks.
Which they had on the, was it a shoulder patch on their alternates for a while?
Yeah, it's not that exact one, but very similar one to it. Actually, I'm gonna grab Ryan Hextall just so we can get both of the Hextall brothers. But other than that, we'll leave it alone. And cut this down a little bit more. Oops. Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't come off the trade block if you waiver claim a trade block player. We'll have to fix that. Ferguson's still not back from his alleged day-to-day injury. And 2 or 3 extra forwards. I think we can leave it at that. Almost ready for the home. We are at the home opener for up against the Leafs. Ferguson is going to miss it though. He's almost back at least. And no, I don't want to re-in for Connolly. Glenn say they're going to start the year on the bench, but it looks like he might be ready to push Keith McCreary out. And I think Plager's got a little more potential, so we will start him at D and let Bob Wall sit. Forward lines, first line makes sense. Second line, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, actually, I think I pretty much like what the AI did there. Power play. What is McCreary doing on the top power play wing here? Try Eddie Shack in there instead. That will be it for the home opener. Jackman going to make the start. And we start the season with a 4-2 loss against Toronto, although at least our shots against were under 40 for once.
I'm not sure we should be celebrating that, but
yeah, well, you got to look for improvement where you can get it. Just curious to see if anybody else. The expansion. Oh, Oakland actually won its first game against Montreal. And we got LA the next night. So playing the other expansion team, which theoretically we should be there, should be able to beat, and we come up with a 6-3 win. Wayne Connolly with the hat trick. So we may actually do a little bit better than 10 wins this season. Same lineup in against Chicago, only Sawchuck's going to start, and we lose 5-2 and 45 shots against. There was the questionable D again. I actually should have taken a look at the tactics in the off season. We went with what was a really simple, straightforward one with the weaker lineup we had last year. Let's up the tempo a little bit. pass a little more often, but other than that, I'm not going to change too much. And Ferguson's finally back. So that gives us completely healthy lines. And I think this will be the, yeah, there we go. He's on the, Ferguson's on the first power play unit. Yeah, that's what I want. And I'm going to save that set as a default line, and we'll switch back to that if we hadn't wind up having to replace guys due to injuries at the start at some point in the year. So Jockman back in against the Wings. Now, hopefully Gordie Howe's still out. Although, no, it doesn't look like it. Too bad. But we come up with the 1-0 shutout. 44 save shutout, so still defensive problems, but
there's no defensive problems if there's a shutout.
If you give up 44 shots, I'd say there are defensive problems. You just had a really odd goalie.
No. Not at all.
Looks like we got somebody hurt. Oh, Carl Brewer suspended for a game.
Just one? That's not bad.
3 games, actually. So Bob Wall goes in for him. 3-3 tie against Chicago. And now the other expansion team, Oakland. 4-4 tie against Oakland, which is a little disappointing, but...
Yes, considering you added these teams just to try and get yourself into the playoffs.
I mean, look where we are right now. We're technically, I mean, we've got like played 2 more games than anybody else, but we're in second in the league.
I'm half surprised you didn't create just a division with the three teams.
And Dick Duff, major injury, out indefinitely with a ruptured UCL. That's not good.
Oh yeah, Jeff, here's something for you. Somebody on our official Discord decided to have some fun. I want to talk about this. So This is Greener11 from our Discord. Decided he was going to run a simulation where he put Wayne Gretzky in from the beginning of the NHL in 1917, and basically has played him until he retired. And the year he retired, he put 18-year-old Gretzky back in. So Wayne Gretzky ended up playing. There was 5 different Gretzkys over the span. He started with the Quebec Bulldogs before moving on to the Hamilton Tigers, before moving on to the New York Americans. Then went to Detroit, St. Louis, ended up with the Cincinnati Stingers before ending up in Hartford, in Carolina, and then was in the Thrasher organization before ending his career with the Jets.
So which of the 5 Gretzkys did the best?
Well, he doesn't have the exact ones, but one was not as good as the others apparently, and we'll go over why. So total games played 7,038. Points. Gretzky put up 11,160 or 1.59 points per game. He scored 4,109 goals or roughly 0.58 goals per game. He had 7,051 assists. In his time in the NHL, he ended up earning 24 Stanley Cups, 64 Hart Trophies, 14 Conn Smythes, 22 Maurice Richard trophies, and 55 Art Rosses. Now, I tell you, one of them is worse than the other ones because of the 5 Gretzkys, he only won 4 Calder trophies. Although perhaps maybe when he came back in the WHA with Cincinnati, and maybe that's why he didn't get the 5th Calder trophy.
Yeah, he may not have qualified. Probably the same reason he didn't qualify for the Calder in real life.
Yeah, that could be. So yeah, those stats again. That's from Greener, uh, in our Discord chat.
So continuing to struggle in this one, we've kind of slumped a little bit there. We just tied the Leafs down to 7th overall, and the number of games played has evened up a little bit more. Oakland is actually 1 point ahead of us, but we're still 3 ahead of the Kings. Probably put Duff on
Jeff,
the
you
injured
should
list.
do this for Mark Messier. One of them has to stick around.
Yeah,
He says in the chat.
I'll pass. Try LaCroix in for Forbes Kennedy for a while, see if that helps, but still giving up way too many shots. Yeah, 4-3 loss, another 45 shots against. Rangers again. Oh, well, instead of giving up 40 plus shots, we gave up 50 this time.
Excellent.
And a 2-1 loss against the Rangers. So goalie stand. Let's take a look at the stats right now. Goalies. Wow, Sawchuk's having a rough year. Ed Giacomin, 944 save percentage. Not bad at all. Now, Red Berenson, Wayne Connolly leading us in scoring. Connolly's actually got 10 goals in 12 games. Eddie Shack doing pretty well, too.
Eddie Shack was always going to do well.
But, yeah, bottom end of the defenseman still struggling. Probably, maybe it was a mistake to give Plager that much playing time this early. So we'll swap him with Wall and Sather out for McCreary. And put a little more playing time on the first line, I think. And a little less on the first defensive pair. Let's see if that helps any. And apparently it does. 3-1 win, although the shot total is still pretty bad. Another shot at Oakland. See if we can do better than just tying them.
Is Oakland performing better than us?
Well, yeah, they were, and they were. The good news is we only gave up 31 shots. The bad news is we lost 3-2.
Ouch.
Which in the standings leaves us now still 7th overall, right behind Oakland. That would have actually swapped places in the standings if we'd won that one. And the Bruins not doing well. Johnny McKenzie out for a couple of weeks, so Willie O'Ree will go in for him. And we play the Bruins next. What were you going to say?
I just said Willie O'Ree. We signed him as a free agent, I believe, right?
Yeah, and 2-2 tie against the Bruins, and again, the shot total is a little lower, so maybe we did something right there. Kings up next. 3-2 win. Again, shot total in the 30s, so maybe we're turning it around here.
Fingers crossed.
And we got a development report. Not too many guys headed downhill, and a lot of them improving.
We don't have a lot of older guys left on this team.
Well, let's see. I don't know. Sort by age. We've only got Sawchuk's 36, and we got a couple of 31-year-olds, a couple of 30-year-olds, but Mostly
We
mid to
traded
late
away
20s.
a couple of the old guys last year.
Yeah. See if this can continue against the Leafs, and it does. 3-3 tie and another shot total in the 30s. So apparently it was the player combination that was screwing us up defensively.
Well, that's an easy enough fix.
And we'll let Sawchuk play against the Wings. Oh, okay, that was a mistake. That was a big mistake. I think this might be a record, Adam.
What is it?
13-2 loss.
14-2?
13.
13-2. Ouch. That's
58 outshot 58-16.
look at the game ratings on that. I want to see the game ratings on that, Jeff.
This is not going to be good. Well, nobody individually is really is like in the 10s or 20s, but everybody except Carl Brewer had a good game defensively, and apparently everybody else did absolutely nothing because it's almost all in the red here.
Nice.
Wayne Hillman -5, Gary Bergman -5. They go. That's where most of the scoring came from. And the Wings
was at 100 defensive game rating. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he did his best apparently. Norm Ullman had 100 overall game rating for the Wings, 4 points. Delvecchio 5 points. Gordie Howe 4 points. Yeah, so yeah, both goalies got crushed there. Nothing. Let's just try and move on from that one and not think about it too much. Wow.
Oh, I think we'll remember it for a while.
That was embarrassing.
Here.
So can we bounce back against Montreal?
Can't be any worse.
We lost 4-3, but only 28 shots against. Ran into a hot goalie, Charlie Hodge, which stopped us, but we actually could have won that one.
I forgot. What was Sawchuk's save percentage in that game?
740 something.
I'm surprised it was that high.
Yeah, see if we can give him a shot against the Rangers if he blows it again. Yeah, 6-4 loss against the Rangers. And Willie O'Ree with 3 assists for us, at least. Not bad off the third line. But I don't think we're going to be starting Sawchuk again for a while, and I'm going to make another shot at moving him 5-1 loss against the Bruins. Does anybody want Sawchuk this time? Probably not, but can't hurt to ask. No interest. Oh, and Carl Brewer got himself suspended. 3 games. I have to put Plager in for those. And Keith McCreary. No, I'm going to leave that the way it is. Oh, I got somebody on waivers. Who is it? Roy Edwards waived from Oakland. No, I don't think we're going to be taking Oakland players.
Gudu asks, I wonder how many, if the team made the worst game ratings of the season.
I'll take a look at that after this. I bet, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Oh, there we go. We finally got a point. 2-2 tie against the Kings.
One thing we should talk about, just because we haven't, since our last stream was, I made a couple moves in our Minnesota Wild game thanks to our community on Twitter. You know, we picked up Braden Point is now on the Minnesota Wild.
Oh, nice.
And I added Brendan Dillon on defense because I realized we needed another defenseman.
See, I don't think the goalies wound up aren't near the top of the worst games list in that game because they pretty much split time, so it kept either one of them from being really bad. Worst one for the season so far is Dennis Giordi, for the Kings, giving up 5 goals and 12 shots. But the worst skaters, well, we got a few in there. Wayne Hillman was Reggie Fleming. Okay, yeah, 3. We got about I don't know, 3 or 4 guys in the top 15 from that one game.
Just dominating.
And Murray Davison and Arnie Brown so far tied for the worst game of the season for a skater with 34 game ratings, pointless and -4. And a loss against the Kings. Wow, we put 56 shots up and still lost. So that's just bad luck running into a hot goalie there. Oh no, we're... Okay, not good. We're back into last place. And teams ahead of us have a couple of games in hand too, so I gotta wonder about our job security here. Okay, that's not good when the fan happiness meter no longer has any color in it. We are down to 30. Wait. That's odd. Oh, that's funny. We've lost our owner. Oh, I'm wondering if we got a little glitch there with the historical staff. As it looks like we've lost Stafford Smythe somehow. I'm going to have to check that. That might be a bug.
No owner. Very interesting.
I think it may autofill that at the start of the next season, but not right now. So, hey, if there's no owner, can we? Does that mean we can't get fired?
I think that's exactly what that means.
Unfortunately, may not work that way. Okay, there we go. We did a little bit against Chicago, but still wound up losing 4-3. The Seals, come on, we got to be able to beat these guys, but apparently we can't. 4-2 loss, and we get outshot badly. How are the other teams doing this year? Well, not that much better than us. Both kind of struggling. Chicago, not surprisingly, leading the league. Rangers have kind of improved quite a bit. And the Bruins, even with Bobby Orr, not doing too well. Okay, best defenseman is back in. Try shuffling the lines a little bit and see if we can come out of this. And we got Mackenzie back as well. Yeah, that looks okay. Montreal, Red Hot Charlie Hodge in goal. And we lose 4-3, although it was a pretty close game, it looks like. But it would be nice to start winning some of these close games. And somebody else is out. Oh, we lost 2 defensemen, Barclay Plager and Bob Wojtowicz, both out. So we'll all in for Plager. And we're going to have to call somebody up from Victoria. Although we don't have a lot of great options defensively, I think we're going to have to take Ludani. Because our other guys aren't quite ready yet. And Oakland again. Let's lose to the other expansion team again. And sure enough we do. 2-1. This is beginning to get embarrassing.
Why do you keep losing to expansion teams, Jeff?
Maybe that's
why the owner left. He's just so embarrassed he just up and left the team.
Waiver on players is Don Simmons, which isn't interesting to us. Finally, 3-2 win against the Rangers. Gave up 41 shots, but at least got the 2 points. And we're within 4 of the Kings, but still a couple of games in hand for them. And do we have anybody back from injury yet? No, and we've lost Orland Kurtenbach now. So Forbes Kennedy gets back in, playing for him. It's against Oakland. Let's see what happens if we give Sawchuk the start. And another bad loss, 6-3. So at this point, we may lose Sawchuk on waivers, but I'm sending him down regardless. And we'll put Tony Esposito back in because I think Sawchuk is done. And we might as well start developing the guy who will probably be our goalie of the future. And we've had a few days off here, so hopefully that'll help.
Gudu says the 67 draft better be a good one.
Yeah, that would be nice. Assuming we're still around to care.
The 67 draft is not a very good one.
Well, the real one wasn't, but still wasn't the full-on proper entry draft that we know today.
I know. But the draft of the time, the first guy drafted was Rick Pagnuti?
Pagnuti, I think, yeah.
Pagnuti, yes.
Never did anything.
Sorry. And then Steve Rex, Ken Hicks, Wayne Cheeseman.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first, still one in there, and it's in that period where they were basically drafting the leftovers that didn't get picked up through the regular farm systems.
Yep.
And another development report. John Ferguson's slipping a little bit. He's only 28. That's not great. But again, everybody else improving. As long as we don't get fired by the non-owner. We should have a decent team soon. 3-2 loss again against Toronto.
So if you get fired by a ghost, is that another new
well, that doesn't count then, so I can we pretend it doesn't happen. And
Oh, Jeff.
And there we go. Tony Esposito gets his first win. The season 2-1 win against Oakland. Finally beat the expansion team. And Kurtenbach is back. Gonna leave Kennedy in the lineup though. And other than that, Sater's actually outplaying McCreary a little bit, so we'll go with him. Oh, the D is all healthy again too. We're gonna have to switch that around. Nanny can go back to the farm team. And where's Wall on the third line? Yeah, third unit. That's going to stay the way it is. Okay. Back-to-back against Chicago. Game 1, 3-2 loss.
Gudu says we can deal the first overall pick to somebody else.
That seems like a bad idea. Oh, yeah, well, if it is a bad draft, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as we think it is. Let me take a look in a second. Oh, it's not bad. I thought it was a back-to-back against the Hawks, but the second half is against the Rangers. And we get blown out 8-0. Jean Rattel with 5 points. Okay, so... Oh, what was I going to do? Look at the draft. All right, we don't have the regular regular prospect screen there. So what I'm going to do is just look at the under 18 guys. And Orr is already on a team. Oh yeah, this is, we thought Brad Park was last year. It was, but he's going to be available this year. So at least that'll improve our defense a little bit. Butch Goring, see, he's only 17. I'm not sure he's eligible for this one. But it's mostly, yeah, Don Luce. There's a little, yeah, there's decent depth in this draft. We just really care about the first pick, and Brad Park would be a good guy to build around. Again, assuming we're there to do the building. Because we just got lost again to an expansion team, 1-0 against the Kings. And hey, Tony Esposito comes up with a 6-3 win against Chicago. Bit of a surprise. And Gary Bergman, 3 points on D.
That's not bad.
No, and let's see if we can do it again against. Can we win 2 in a row? Yes, we win 2 in a row. I think for the first time this season, 2-1 against the Kings. And naturally, Arsene Jockman, our starting goalie, gets hurt. Is he hurt bad enough to miss games? Yes, he is, and Sawchuk's going to have to come back up. But he's definitely not starting. We'll give that to Esposito. 3 games in a row. 3-0 shutout for Tony Esposito over the Kings.
Finally.
Yeah. Can we make it 4 against the Rangers? Going to go with Esposito in since he's getting hot. 4 in a row. 2-1 win. Got outshot 40-14, but still come away with the win. So has that moved us out of last place finally? Yes, it has. Up 2 points on the Kings and tied with Boston. And we'll ignore the fact that we played 3 games more than the Kings and 5 more than Boston. Can we get a 5-game losing streak here, or winning streak here? No, we can't, as Montreal beats us 6-2.
Of course not. Why would we be able to do that? Our team has quit on you, Jeff, and it seems like they're trying to get you fired.
Well, they're going to have to talk to the owner about that. Oh, wait, there is none.
Gudu asks, is there any coming back from a grade 3 concussion?
Yep, it's that's one of the ones that I think has a career-ending chance, but it will. That's I think it gives you the indefinite injury, but most guys will eventually come back from it. And 2-1 loss against Detroit, and I think yeah, Jockman is back. So Sawchuk back down. And bounce, and we don't lose 3 in a row. 6-3 win against Montreal. And up 3 points on the Kings now.
All right. Still a lot of trouble.
Time for one more, but yeah, still well, I'm not going to complain too much. Now, narrow 2-1 loss against the Rangers. Try Tony Esposito back in goal. 5-3 loss to the Wings. Okay. We are at the end of the calendar year. Bobby Orr, first year in the league, already rated as the having the hardest shot and being the smartest player.
Hard to argue with that.
And not surprisingly, none of our guys are mentioned. Let's take a look at the stats. So Wayne Connolly having a really good year, 39 points in 45 games, almost was within 5 points of his total from last year. Red Berenson continuing to develop nicely. Eddie Shack, it's surprisingly a good year. He's only 3 points off his total from last year. Kurtenbach doing okay. We finally got a little bit more scoring out of the D. I mean, we're getting a lot more scoring this year. And in goal, Esposito with a 909 save percentage. And Jockman with 919, but the save percentage and goals against average have both moved up quite a bit from last year. And game rating wise, worst player is Andre Lacroix, Glenn Sater. It's our third and fourth line guys, not surprisingly. Wayne Hillman not doing well at all, though. Maybe got to look at finding an improvement for that third pair defenseman spot. Yeah, it's just a depth problem at this point, I think. Our first time a couple of lines and pairs aren't doing too badly, but after that it really drops off. Okay, let's play one more game, see if we can steal a win. We'll play Tony Esposito against Chicago, his real future team. And there we go, 5-2 win.
Huzzah!
And I think, if I remember it, isn't Chicago the... Oh, that was the Leafs, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, I can see it right there. Duh. But, 5 win against one of the better teams in the league, so I think that's a good point to leave off at. And we've now got a 5-point gap between us and LA. So they're probably going to wind up with Brad Park, and we'll have to take somebody else, but still.
Possibly.
Yeah, so a very slight improvement this season. Hopefully enough to keep us around. And do you want to wrap it up there, Adam?
Sure. Thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager 6 stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Development. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we are at Franchise Hockey. We can also find a link to our official Discord channel. And you can also come on down to our official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which will bring you to our official forums, where you can come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager 6, Out of the Park Baseball, Perfect Team, or just about anything else you want to talk about. As Jeff mentioned as well, and he'd probably say that we should mention, is there is a hot fix out right now for FHM 6. So that'll bring you up to build 70. Is that correct, Jeff?
Yep, 6670.
Yeah, 6670. And it is not the final update. We are continuing to work on more, I guess is the best way to say that. Would you say that, Jeff?
Yep, still getting a few things done. Obviously, the big data update after the trading deadline is done. It's going to take us probably a week or two to do after the deadline, which is next Monday. Monday or Tuesday?
Monday is the deadline.
Monday, yeah. Will be a week or two after that just to get everything in and make sure we're happy with everything and all the moves updated and so on, but expect that to be coming fairly soon.
Excellent. And we will be back again next week with our Wild Thing, Minnesota Wild 2021-2022 season. As we talked about in the stream, we've made a few more moves to try and improve our team. We'll see how we do. We have some hope, but we really don't know.
At least we haven't gotten fired yet, so.
Absolutely.
Good news in both games. So thanks for coming out, and we will see you guys next week.